what you did wasn't impulsive. It was instinctual. You shot that junkie pissant because you wanted to. Just like that.
You know, Oz, people underestimate you, but not me. I've always known you were capable of more.
Oh man, okay. So it's been a minute, but we are back. I have a guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself in just a second, but let me kind of set the stage a little bit. I talked about Cape Crusader like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was. That was a fun time. Everybody had their rounds in the comments, but Penguin is what I was most excited for. I brought a guest. He's seen the episode 2. We gonna talk about it. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? It's Comics Corner. We in the building, Comics Corner on YouTube. I love DC, and I love DC Comics, specifically Batman. So there's no way I was going to stay away from the conversation behind the Penguin. So,
So how did you feel about the episode? What's your thoughts? What are you expecting? It's early for sure, but it's the first. Yeah. It's the first episode, so obviously I don't expect no like OD wild layout. But how do you feel after watching the first episode a couple times?
So I think I was a skeptic, right? Going in, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, this seems to be a new wave that they're trying to push with like doing shows with movies. You kind of see it with Sonic. I don't know if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And there's supposed to be like a Dune movie coming out. I mean, a Dune show or something like that. But so going in, I was like, I think it's cool because if you remember in the Batman, you don't really focus too much on who the Penguin is, obviously, because it's not his story. Mm-hmm. And so this gives us a chance to bond with Big Oswald Cobblepot. And I think that I like how brash they made him. Does that make sense? Like, I really enjoyed the opening sequence.
Okay.
Because the opening sequence gave us everything from his cunning to his recklessness, and then back into like the reality of his situation. I think all of those things combined together created the great premise for how the episode went about itself.
That's valid. I think that's fair. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of felt the same way going into it, except, and we kind of discussed this off camera. My biggest fear was that you kind of set a large, like you set a standard that it's not going to be able to be matched for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
I think you only have 8 episodes, and then you premiere on Sundays at 9. So which actually is really interesting slot after I was able to realize what the set schedule is going to be. They're gonna end up competing with like your Sunday night footballs for prime time, for people's time at least. And I think that that's like a really bold statement to make, but I also think that it shows just how much they believe in the show and the show's success. I enjoyed the first episode. I like the fact that they were able to frame things out really well, while simultaneously, even though I didn't like him at first, Victor. He offers. He's a little. I think he allows you to not be on 100 for the duration of the episode. He kind of lightens you up at times.
Yeah,
where
I see that.
You can't. There was possibly a world where they just run it 100 miles. He kind of allows me to slow down and take in the world. And I also kind of see where from stopping to get a slush puppy to going to the school, he allows us to see the world a little bit too as well. And even his opening sequence when he's driving, or when Penguin's making him drive, we get to see actually what the world is and how the world gets built out. We got to see just the damage that happens after the film. Go ahead.
what I was gonna say is not only do we get to see the world, but I noticed this a little bit, but the after show little pods they do kind of brought light to this. Like, it really, you get to focus and see who Oswald is. You know what I mean? Because up till now we had no clue what type of person he was, and the first interaction he has with people, and it's supposed to be a negative one. It starts off negative because he's about to kill them, right, for trying to steal his car.
Yeah.
But then bro starts stuttering. And you see, like, it's funny, but like you see Oswald kind of be like, "Oh shoot, man! Oh, he gotta, you know what I mean? Like, like, oh man, I'm not gonna kill this kid." And it's because he has his little, grip foot. Can I say that?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, all right.
No,
He got his,
stand on your.
he got his foot.
He can't stand on his 10. You can stand on yours. So
Yeah, it was bad. It's bad. It's not 10. He don't got 10. He got like 6.5. But you know what I'm saying? The empathy was there for the kid. So even though the situation and the way that he treated the kid is still technically a wrong, there was a soft spot for that child. And that's the reason that we get to see the world somewhat differently than how we saw it in both the Batman and at the very beginning of the show, of the episode.
Okay. How do you feel about Sophia? How do you feel about Sophia? Well, we can cover the mom first, or Miss Kawapapa. I think he just called her Ma too. Like, he didn't even like.
I don't remember his mama name anyway, even if
yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, Mama gangster. I like Mom. She's fire. Bro was like, "Hey, we gotta leave. we have to get out of here." And she said, "We don't run from nothing." It was like, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I kind of agreed with her. Like, once that happened, I was like, oh yeah, we're not running. We're not running from nothing.
No, I 100% agree with her. Like, I agree with her. I agree with her, like, thought process. Not only that, but I think that, which is actually something that I appreciated on, like, kind of like going back through like the second run or the second watch, is like they're also starting to build out like why he is the way that he is, and you can see it in like his mom telling him like, essentially, we ain't raised no bitch like you. And she was like, and she was like, he was like, oh, I killed Alberto. She was, and he talked about you. Oh yeah, no, you good, like we good. You not soft. I didn't make you that way, or you didn't grow up that way. That's not.
Yeah,
that's
so
not,
you did it because you wanted to.
Yeah, that's not who you are. That's not what this is. Like, we good. I'm gonna be good. Like, she's standing on hers, and like you're starting to be able to see how she raised her children, or her child. I think he said they were siblings, but you starting to see how they were raised, or how his upbringing affects his current day decision making, while him still simultaneously having those little soft spots, like for his mom, for having a soft spot for Victor, but then also him wanting to be cunning and trying to outthink Sophia as well. Which is
nuts, because let me tell y'all, I'm glad that was a nice segue, because I know you did that on purpose. Sophia is fire. When he was in that room talking that cash, he was talking that cash. I got a big drug deal, big everything, and of course we hadn't been introduced to her yet. Yeah. So in the cut, you just see this figure, and like, from watching other forms of media, this is a boss figure, just based on the way that they entered the room and they didn't say nothing. It's like, this is going to be important. And so then when they finally pan out and it's Sophia, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting it to be some lady. Like, I'm expecting, you know what I mean? And you could call me what you want, but typically that's where that role is. Mm-hmm. And so the way that she handled herself and handled him, because everything she did was psychological. She already understood and knew what was going to happen from jump. She was in control. Mm-hmm. And she was kind of introduced as like a wild card. Like, okay, so bro killed Buddy, but he in here talking about this deal, and he's sounding good. It sounds like he gonna make something happen. Mm-hmm. And then she's just like, Oswald, let's go to dinner. been far too long.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like that. If you didn't feel like that, then you didn't put yourself in Oswald's shoes. It felt like, oh my gosh.
That's true. Not only that, let me say 10 out of 10 on performance.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
She was my favorite part of the show, to be honest. I love her.
I think she's going to be my favorite character throughout the duration of the series. But also, let me say, I think that kind of plays into like that traditionally, especially in modern media, I think you see a lot where like they try to subvert your expectation, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think here it works especially well because, like you said, you expect a boss figure to look a certain way, carry themselves a certain way. And I also notice two quick little notions. One, the small figure, but like the really large personality.
Yeah.
And her.
You know what I think it is?
Go ahead.
Her eyes. Like,
okay.
It's kind of in the way that you said, like, she's acting, but her eyes were so, because she didn't make a lot of faces that had like super emotional, gravity, except for when she smiled at dinner. It was like, okay, you ain't slick, but her eyes conveyed everything they needed to convey.
I agree with that as well. And to me, this is always one of the things that I like really love to pick apart or like see gets done well. Her wardrobe specifically, if you notice, everyone else is kind of dressed in like a black or a dark sort of color. She walked in there with the white on to kind of, especially if she's going to be out of focus on first entrance. You can see, okay, wait, there's somebody, there's a woman dressed in white back there. You can tell by, okay, it's a little small, dainty figure, so you don't really know what to expect. And she's a little soft spoken too until she like kind of jumps off that cliff.
And then you can kind of juxtapose, right? Like, she wore white on introduction and she was sweet and nice. And when it was time to be the boss of the family, like she was, she wore all black. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she did. Now, she did. She was dressed. She was dressed in, I think if not fully black trench coat, she was definitely dressed in dark colors when they went to go search for Oz the first time, and maybe even at the confrontation. But go ahead. Let me catch you.
Oh, I was about to pose the question back onto you because you spoke to me about the ending. So how did you feel about the ending scene? Like, explain to the people how you was feeling.
So I'm gonna be holistically honest here. 10 out of 10 full scale performance. The ending with so I appreciated two things on rewatch. I appreciated the fact that even though it might seem kind of corny to some, I appreciated the fact that if we go to the very, very, very ending when Victor and Oz are enjoying the slush puppies and they're talking, they're having like that little kind of like light moment, and they're kind of like, I guess reviewing what happened, if you really want to call it that. I appreciated the fact that one, there's like the sun's out, everything's a little more bright. If you notice, it's been muggy this entire time. That's one of the first times it stopped raining. Yeah. And then prior to that, you get the scream that was just like blood curdling and sick, and it's a combination of all these moments, and you finally get to see, piggybacking off of what you said earlier, some like real, actual, natural, visceral emotion from her. Somebody who had seemed so cold and pretty much deranged up until that point, especially coming off of shooting the kid whose name we didn't even get to learn.
Man, when she popped him, said, so he's lying and not you. Yes, yes. Okay, boom. I said, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, especially coming off of all that, being able to wrap it up in the kind of cliche, kind of like everything works out for everybody at the end. And like they have that moment where they actually like get to the slush puppy that they mentioned at the beginning, not beginning, but pretty much the beginning of the episode. It almost kind of feels like that, like, you know how like the comedian tells the joke at the beginning of the set, and then at the very end he kind of like wraps you up, and then he brings it full circle. It was a fantastic moment, and I don't know where exactly we go from here, but it was very, very, very enjoyable. I also hope that she wasn't. She probably can't be, but she probably can't be like a one-off like character.
No, I doubt it. So the way I think they set her up to be slightly off his trail, but she was too quick on her feet in the series to be outwitted completely. Does that make sense?
It does.
I 100% expect her to be kind of like playing detective behind them as he goes and tries to take over everything in the city. You know what I mean? Okay. And I expect him to fully take over by the time the movie is supposed to be coming out, and by extension, the end of the series. Mm-hmm. He will be in a very prominent position to where he will mean something when the movie comes about. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I expect that, but I also am just hoping that like they don't give her the kind of like hands-off type of experience. Like I hope that we still get to, if we don't get to follow her, not necessarily one-to-one, but if we don't get to follow her for a short portion of each episode, that at least from time to time there are those pop-ins of like, yeah, hey, this is happening, or yeah, hey, this is where she is. Like I hope that she doesn't go from in the forefront to like a kind of like backsided sort of footnote, because you only have so many episodes. You don't get like a 26 episode run where you get to follow every single solitary step. And they already kind of introduced her as not a B character, so it would be kind of off-putting for me if we begin to like, oh, if you have to ask me like what's Sophia doing or how does she feel, or like I don't want any of those questions to kind of be up in the air.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. But yeah, I think this was solid, and I think that they created a really good jumping off pad. I think we're gonna meet some new characters next episode, and I think we're gonna get further in the hole. I think that he's gonna do something else stupid. You know, this is how this goes at this point, right? Like, I think that his cunning was shown and his ability to think his way out of some things, and even Sophia hinted at the idea that he can speak his way out of a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna have to just watch him wiggle his way out for like the next. It reminds me of Ozark, but on purpose.
Okay. I think that I fully agree, but I do also want to add, I'm hoping that she's kind of like a soft foil for him, where like she offsets like some of the larger plots that he tries to do, so that he doesn't just like get it off immediately. Right? City. You said yeah, because you saw where like when he tried to go back to Salvatore, I think it was, he tried and present him with the ring. He was like, hey, yeah, we can take over, you're in jail, so I can be the man on the streets. Essentially, you see him try to do small little quick little sneaky things that everyone won't notice. I'm hoping that, go ahead.
When you think about that, right, that served two purposes, because obviously that's going to be brought back later on, right? Shout out to Clancy Brown, by the way. But also, since the pinky was taken off of the body and the ring is back in prison, they have to assume that he did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now I'm absolved and I have a card to play later. I just think it's fire.
Oh man, it almost slipped my mind too. I thought about it earlier. But you just reminded me too. I also hope that we get to see the purpose that Eve actually serves, if there is one. Because right now, I think that we have a lot of characters that exist. Well, not a lot, but there are a couple of characters that exist that don't really have like clearly defined purpose. I hope Eve is not someone that's just like the random necessary alibi. I also hope we get to see more of Mama Penguin is what I'm gonna go with here.
Okay. Yeah, Mama Penguin.
Mama Penguin is what I'm gonna go with here. And I also hope that, honestly, as much as people might not like this, I honestly hope that Victor comes into his own and actually like gets his own like
turn into Franklin.
Give me a clear like developed character. I don't know where we go, but give me a clear developed character. it was only an hour and 7, so there wasn't a lot to do. Also, let me give credit where credit's due. It was shot beautifully. It was,
yeah, man, movie quality for sure. The cinematography was there.
Oh, they picked good angles. There were small little things. The color, the suit color matching the Maserati, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a Maserati.
Suit color matching.
It was
Maserati.
ugly.
Listen. But
it was ugly.
You said it was
ugly as freak.
Oh,
that's what it was just funny when she made reference of it. She was like, "Oh yeah, think about having that plum car." It's like, why do you have? When I first saw the color of it, I said, "Why do you have that? Like, you have all this money and you buy that?"
It matches the status symbol. It fits. It's
Man.
not. In fact, if
you would have got it in matte black, and it would have had the same effect.
Do I get to reach a little bit?
Sure.
It's not fully black because he's not all the way evil. It's not fully black because he's not all the way evil yet. You know what I'm saying? If the car color changes, if it gets a little darker, if the suits get to the straight black with the no white tee underneath either,
did we know something?
Maybe maybe he's putting the fit together, right? So then somebody's gonna mention the plum. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I gotta be black." We gotta start to unveil the penguin fit a little bit.
I wonder if he's gonna have like a revamped version of the Iceberg Lounge by the end of the series.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Oh man.
I hope so.
I guess if you mix that on top of the extra on top of what's about to happen with the plant, I hope the plant doesn't blow up episode 2. By the way.
Yeah, that would be nuts.
I hope we don't.
Like, okay, what are we gonna do now? Like,
yeah.
What now?
I hope we don't level the block on episode 2 because
level the block is crazy.
We already don't have much going on, so I'm saying like, is right now we following the drops, the shipment, and the new drug, which.
Did they say what it was called?
They did not. They gave no title. They just said it.
What if it's vertical?
I thought of that, but I don't want to jump that far ahead just yet.
Okay, yeah. So we gonna let it come to us. You know.
I think it's a couple of different places it could go, but all in all, what do you grade the episode?
I give it a solid B+.
B+. Okay, so out of 10, where we go?
Dang, that's more.
Yeah, I know it is. That's what I said. Let me hold you to a real standard here. B+.
I guess it's an 8, right?
You could 8.5. You could.
Yeah, like I think it's about an 8.5.
Okay.
Because there wasn't a whole lot of negative. Like, I don't even think we spoke about negatives. You know what I mean? But I feel like the negatives are mainly nitpicks.
I was gonna say I don't have anything that was like bad to me, especially because it's first episode. So like any
yeah.
I also don't even think there are any like clear character flaws or anything like that like could come out.
I'm actually glad it wasn't overly great because then you have nowhere to go.
I think that's fair as well. That's fair as well. So what you say? You say 8 point what? If you B+ and where you go 8.2. I give it 8.2. 8.2. You close to
a flat B.
Yeah, I was gonna say you close to a flat B.
That's fine though. It's okay.
Okay.
What you got a rating?
I'm gonna if I'm I'll go high here. I'm gonna go 8.8. We're almost at a 9. We're almost at a 9.
Fair enough.
I think Sophia being such a well-placed character when there aren't too many like overly pronounced characters really helps the show out. I'm very glad Alberto died because I did not see a world where I didn't see a world where he lives, but I also didn't see a world where like it doesn't start to feel like, oh God, Alberto's back on the screen. Like, because early on he seemed kind of level, and then as he started to kind of as he took more and more drops, his cases got slipperier and slipperier, and I know that was the purpose. Obviously, I understand that, but just like it felt like if we would have kept him around forever, one, if I can be very, very, very like kind of writer minded about this, I think if Alberto stays, Sophia remains contained. And I think and I think that's bad. I think that would be bad for the show in the long term because
she kind of made it clear that he was her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just quick. She kind of made it clear that he was like the only person that really showed real care for her. So she's ready to move off strength of her brother easy.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this kind of allows a space where Sophia at some point, I don't know when, but I'm going to call it now, at some point in this run, she's going to make a like sporadically bad decision.
Yeah.
I think that Alberto being that rock is positive because it's going to let her come out of her shell and make her own decisions, but that also means that I definitely expect one or two really, really, really bad decisions somewhere in this run. But I'll still go like 8.9 because every character to me kind of stands on their own. They don't have like nobody feels like there's a crutch or nobody feels like they can't support themselves. I'm using that really loosely there, but nobody feels like they need somebody else to be there, and they didn't introduce characters unnecessarily either. Al was in, Al was out. They got him up out of here. We used him as a story plot to aid in Sophia's decision making. We get to learn more and more through not only Al but Mama Penguin, how Penguin grew up, how he may perceive himself in the future, and we see that he still has a soft spot because of Victor. I want to know more. Good.
Also, what he wants. You know what I mean? We know what he wants out of the lifestyle that he has chosen. We understand that because he laid it out perfectly, even though he got laughed at.
Yeah, that's true as well. I'm excited for what Victor has in the future, but I don't know. And then that's about everybody. Well, everybody didn't get blasted, of course. Any final words? Anything you want to say here?
Nah, I'm just hyped for the next episode. Hit the subscribe button. Like the video so that he gets positive feedback, so that he can be even more excited for the next episode. Because I'm already hyped for it.
Okay, he didn't gas himself up enough, so I will take care of this. Listen. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Go subscribe to him. I don't know why he didn't mention his own channel. This nigga's just, he's being humble. We're working on it. We're working on it. He's being too humble. I don't know why he's being humble. Listen, he has his own channel. He can leave a comment. I'll put all this stuff in the description. I'm getting real far ahead of myself, but I don't care. We're like 3 weeks away. Sparking Zero be coming out real soon. We accept any and all challenges. Don't stray away from the challenge. He's out here. I'm out here. We'll see y'all back for the next episode. What, 29th they said?
Yeah.
So 30th, 31st, somewhere in there. We'll be back for the next episode. Really hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. As always, y'all be easy. Y'all be safe. Peace.
I'll see y'all in the next one, man. We out of here.